Arise and shine, for the glory of the Lord is risen upon you. Good morning and compliments of the season. Welcome to the midweek edition of Newspaper Headlines. Remember, this program is aimed at serving you the menu of news making the headlines from select national newspapers. Today, 8 papers arrived early enough this morning to check out the stories on the front pages together. I am Phoebe Agimeyu. And now let's go right into the dailies. I have with me the Daily Trust. All right, we'll start with the stories just below the masthead. Page 4. And supervised Niger border. ASU set to suspend strike. However, just in, ASU conditionally suspended its strike, ending a prolonged industrial action that started since March 2020. All right, moving on. Page 8, gunmen abduct village head, 15 others in Katsina. And now to the lead story. Buhari asks governors to take over fight. All right. That's the second wave of COVID-19. Extends COVID-19 task force mandate to March. Our health system can't withstand major outbreak, PTF. Different tales in states. Page 5. Looking at the picture, we have travelers waiting to board a commercial vehicle without regards to COVID-19 protocols at Zuba Park in Abuja yesterday, ahead of Christmas celebration. And below the picture, page 4, criminals plotting to bomb public places during Yuletide, coming from DSS. And the bottom strip stories, WACOT, USAID signed $5 billion deal to expand rice production. Page 4. Woman pours hot water on co-wife in Plateau. Page 28. Dangote wins 2020 Best Company in CSR. Page 19. And that is all from the front page of Daily Trust. And now let's cross over to New Telegraph. The lead story, Buhari, Nigeria in perilous situation with COVID-19. Federal government orders workers below grade level 13 to stay at home. Minister, why we have not imposed travel ban? Get the details on page 3. The picture is that of the Banker of the Year, Herbert Wigwe, New Telegraph Awards 2020. And below that, insecurity. We are tired, frustrated. Governors lament. DSS to attack critical assets, public places. Page 4. And on page 6, air pollution can damage kidneys. Now let's take a look at the stories just below the masthead. Brass meant to build 1.5 billion states. Page 5. CBN. Fourth quarter 2020 consumer confidence remains bleak. Page 25. Reps. Why we raised 2021 budget by over 500 billion naira. Page 4. And on page 29, gunmen kidnap passengers, others in Edo, Kano. And just above the masthead, NSC, Dangote Cement, UBA, Zenith, sustained rally with 235 billion naira. The story begins on the front page and continues on page 5. And on that same page, Financial Times, Nigeria risks becoming a failed state. And that is all from the New Telegraph. Up next is This Day. Let's take a look at the front page just above the masthead. Nigeria's forex inflow hits $21 billion in third quarter. The story begins on the front page and continues on page 10. Federal government targets $200 million yearly revenue from MPDC gas facility. Page 8. Looking at the picture, brass met on expansion drive. From left to right, Managing Director and CEO Brasmet PLC, Yusuf Binji, Founder, Bra Group, Chairman Brasmet, Alhaji Samad Rabiu, and Chief Financial Officer Brasmet PLC at the signing ceremony between BRA and Sinoma CBMI of China to build 3 new current plants in Sokoto, Edo, and Adamawa. This happened in Lagos yesterday. Beside the picture, governors lament worsening insecurity to intensify collaboration with federal government to defeat criminals. The story is on the front page, but it continues on page 10. And now to the lead story. COVID-19. Brace up. Nigeria in perilous times, says Buhari. Extends PTF mandate till March. Calls for vigilance at Yuletide. Federal government, no fresh lockdown. NC decides increased travels, disregard for safety measure for resurgence. The story is on the front page and it continues on page 10. And the last story on the front page of This Day newspaper is on page 5. Presidency, how we force bandits to free abducted Katsina pupils. And that is all from This Day newspaper. Let's take a look at the Nigerian pilot now. We'll start with the lead story. It says, failing states. Financial Times posits Nigeria going backward. Says Africa's most populous country, teetering on the brink. Questions Buhari's claim that Boko Haram has been defeated. Hints that Nigeria's economy would worsen. Nobody in control. Page 5. And the picture is that of President Muhammadu Buhari at Istanbul during a courtesy visit to the president at the State House. Federal government rules out fresh lockdown over COVID-19, extends mandate. Page 5. And the bottom strip stories, Nigeria needs workable reforms to reverse investment decline. NIPC boss. Page 9. We are ready for war with Kwankwan, so APC declares. Page 7. Alleged 7.1 billion naira loot. Ajikalu gets February 2nd date for retrial. Page 5. Only God can supervise Nigeria's border with Niger Republic, coming from Buhari. Page 8. Economy may end up weaker, forecast CBN. Page 32. NLNG remits $16.8 billion to NNPC in 15 years, says the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NATI. Page 30. And the stories just below the masthead. We are tired, frustrated over insecurity, says governors. Page 8. And lastly, page 7, this is coming from Lai Mohammed. Buhari has achieved much with little resources. All right, find out how on page 7. That is all from the Nigerian Pilot. Viewers, stay with us for more stories from the Nigerian Tribune, People's Dailies, Blueprint, and Business Day newspapers. We shall be back.
Every person who is charged with a criminal offense is entitled to defend himself in person or by a legal practitioner of his own choice.
Remember that an individual is entitled to remain silent.
Every citizen in Nigeria is entitled to maintain a private life.
You are approaching a military checkpoint or a police checkpoint without knowing that it's against or it offends them and subject you to a frog jump. That is wrong.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the newspaper headlines live from the ACNN studios in Abuja. For more on our catch-up programs, please visit our social media platforms, all showing on the screen. And do well to download the VM Africa app or Prime TV or WeTV Africa on any app store to watch us on the go. ACNN TV is now available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Android TV. And so we continue with the Nigerian Tribune. Above the masthead. Gunmen strike in Kano, Kaduna, kill 8, kidnap 5. Female worker abducted in Ibadan. Pages 25 and 26. Niger border can only be effectively supervised by God, says Buhari. Page 8. And below the masthead, states working with federal government to end banditry, kidnapping. I'll take that again. States working with federal government to end banditry, kidnapping. Fire me. Page 25. On page 5, federal government to shut Third Mainland Bridge for 72 hours. 17 killed in auto crash in Kogi. Page 25. The lead story, COVID-19 variant. Why Nigeria can't ban flights from UK. Federal government gives the explanation on page 4. Says, no fresh lockdown. Nigeria's health system can't survive another outbreak. PTF cries. Below the lead story now, Nigeria at risk of becoming a failed state. Financial Times, page 7. Malabu oil. Federal government, Shell, Ajib lose bid to stop hearing of Abacha suit. Page 27. Police can't confirm abduction of passengers on Benin-Auchi Road. Find out why they can't confirm it on page 27. And the picture is that of the United States President-elect Joe Biden receiving the first dose of COVID vaccine. And Dr. Anthony Fauci, Director of the United States National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, receiving the vaccine. Finally, plot by suicide bombers to strike during Yuletide, uncovered by the DSS. The story begins on the front page and continues on page 26. Nigerian Tribune for you. Now, People's Daily. The lead story, Christmas. DSS uncovers plots to attack public places. Page 2. Chairman Nigeria Governors Forum and Ekiti State Governor Dr. Kayode Fayemi left, addressing the press during the solidarity visit to Katsina State by the governors, With him are Governor Aminu Bello Masari of Katsina State, Governor Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto State, and Governor Muhammad Abubakar of Jigawa State. And that is the picture for you. COVID-19. Buhari extends PTF mandate by 3 months. Page 5. Bama. For being undefeated, Zulum offers X-Mas Lajis to soldiers of 151 Battalion. Page 3. NGF laments upsurge of insecurity in Nigeria. Page 25. Kidnappers kill police officer after 3 people in Jigawa. Page 6. Buhari. We are getting closer to self-sufficiency in liquefied petroleum gas production. Page 2. And finally, just below the masthead, Zamfara. Military, Magban, repentant bandits in lasting peace pact. Coming from Matawale, page 5. People's Daily for you. Blueprint is now just beside the masthead. Nigeria, Jamaica deepen relations with Air Peace inaugural flight. Page 8. African Development Bank to expand desert power solar energy production. Page 23. Nigeria closer to self-sufficiency in gas production. Buhari says Oredo gas facility will deliver 240,000 metric tons. Its justification of NNPC's move to eliminate gas flaring. I take that again. Its justification of NNPC's move to eliminate gas flaring. Minister. The story is on the front page and it continues on page 6. On page 5, 17 perished in Lokoja auto crash. The lead story. COVID-19. Nigerians react as Buhari extends PTF mandate to March. Citizens want palliatives, sincerity of purpose. CSO's caution. Seek economic stimulus. NYCN backs federal government. Let's settle for homegrown solution. Economist. FCT begins reinforcement. Arrest, freeze 20 violators. Shun not mask, risk jail. Lagos government. Page 6. And now to the picture. We saw this earlier on the People's Daily. The NGF solidarity visit to Governor Masari at the government house in Katsina on Tuesday. And below that, Sharia court orders Kano singer arrested for eloping with woman. Page 8. And the bottom strip stories, banditry. NGF backs Matawale, pledges support. Page 9. Ex-Minister Jerry Agada dies at 68. Page 15. Federal government may hike VAT to confront 5.1 billion naira budget deficit. Federal government may hike VAT to confront 5.19 trillion naira budget deficit. Page 22. And lastly on page 22, still consumers unlikely to buy expensive items in next 12 months. Coming from CBN. And that is all from the Blueprint newspaper. Alright, up next is Business Day. And just below the masthead, Nigeria in the shadows as foreigners pile into emerging markets by most since 2013. Page 30. 2020 in review. Major events that shaped Nigeria's energy sector in 2020. It's on the front page and it continues on page 30. And lastly, the inside story, USAID, Wakot rice, partnership on ₦5 billion deal to boost Nigeria production in Kebbi. And that is from there. And so before we call it a wrap, just to remind you that ASU conditionally suspends its strike, ending a prolonged industrial action that started since March 2020. And there you have some good news. So there, that's the much we could take on the program. We want to thank you so much for watching. And I want to admonish you with these words even as we celebrate. Courage, brothers and sisters. Do not stumble. Though the path be dark as night, there is a star to guide the humble. Let the road be rough and dreary, and its end far out of sight. Foot it bravely, strong or weary, trust in God and do the right. Friday is the next edition, and we will be back. That's a promise. Happy celebration. Stay well and stay blessed.
Every person who is charged with a criminal offense is entitled to defend by a legal practitioner of his own choice.
Remember that an individual is entitled to remain silent.
Every citizen in Nigeria is entitled to maintain a private life.
You are approaching a military checkpoint or a police checkpoint without knowing that it's against or it offends them and subject you to a frog jump. That is wrong.
Worthy by design. On this show, we focus on the journey from girlhood to womanhood and everything in between.